Hey everybody, this is Vril. Welcome back to Extended Timeline World War II. It is now January 1st of 1971. In the last episode, one of our big wars that took place was between the USA and Mexico, and the USA won that war. They crossed the Rio Grande and they captured all of the provinces on the US-Mexican border, and I'm sure they will continue their southward expansion in future episodes. Let's have a look what's going on over in Japan and China here, and actually let's have a look at our armies of the world before we do that. The USA is on top, followed by the Soviet Union, the Germans, the Japanese, and China. I will note that the Chinese did have a larger army than Japan, around 500,000 at the beginning of the last episode when this war started, but the Japanese have been slowly fighting them down, and that's been a very difficult war for both of them. Let's have a look at any other wars that are going on at the moment. There's the British-Sudanese War for Independence between British Sudan, a bunch of other Commonwealth nations, and backed by the Netherlands. Is there anybody else in here? I don't think so. Against the British, the Argentinians, a bunch of other nations that are allied with the British. We've also got the Brazilian-Argentinian imperialist war between Brazil, allied with the Germans, and Guinea against the Argentinians and the British. Now let's just have a look at this Chinese-Japanese war. In the last episode, the Mongolians joined this war on the side of the Japanese. That should help out the Japanese, although the Mongolians, I do think, have a lower tech level than the Japanese, so their units won't be quite as valuable as either Manchukuo or the Japanese in this war. So switch back over this map. You can see the Chinese have captured quite a bit of Manchukuo, some of Japanese Korea, but I think that the Japanese are taking the Chinese have the higher war score, but I do think that the Japanese are about to kind of take some of these losses back, because they do have the larger army at this moment. They're higher technologically and all that as well. So let's have a look in South America, what's going on there between the Brazilians and the Argentinians. I think in this one that the Brazilians will have the upper hand. I really cannot imagine the Argentinians. They do have this 3-star general, but I would think a 50k 3-star general probably can't take on. This is going to be like a 2-star general with 100k that the Brazilians have. Plus the Brazilians have the help of the Germans, although we'll see if the Germans can even get across the ocean here. Let's see what's going on. There was these wars for in the colonies here. I'm not really seeing much going on with them, but there are some wars going on at some point. British Sudan, I mean, that would be right here, but I don't really see much going on in terms of being occupied. Let's just head back. We'll keep an eye on this Chinese wars, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on in Argentina and Brazil. So the Manchukuo, Chinese and Japanese, do have a bunch of, they've got some communist revolutionaries who are fighting the Manchukuo noble rebels here. So a bunch of these rebel groups are popping up here. I do think that although the communist revolutionaries are here, they probably would end up fighting the Chinese if they happen to go into the same territory. We do have the Mongolians fighting off the Japanese, or the Chinese here. It's not going well for the Mongolians, I don't think. But we've got some, 75k Japanese stack. We've got some sieging down here. We've got the Manchukuos sieging as well. So I think, this war might take a little while, but I do think that the Japanese are going to take, as long as they don't have too high of a war exhaustion and they have to peace out early, I think they'll be okay. So just checking to see if anything else is going down. The Brazilians are actually losing to the Argentinians, at least by war score at the moment. What have we got here? The British Sudan is occupying parts of Argentina. So I think, let's see, the British are allied with the Argentinians here. That is, we've talked about it before, but the Argentinians actually do hold the Falkland Islands, that hotspot of the world. this 3-star general has to be quite good, although it doesn't really look like these armies are going to want to fight each other. I think that they're mainly, the Argentinians are going to focus on taking back these lands that have been sieged down. Apparently is Spain. Spain is somewhere in here. Not seeing them, but they are somewhere in here. Here we go. Yes, so they are on the side of the British Sudan, trying to gain their independence against the Argentinians here. I would figure that the Spanish are over here because of, I think they have this province right here, so that's why, and actually the Argentinians are occupying it at the moment. Let's head back on over to the Far East. Just keep an eye. Okay, the Chinese are still winning this war, apparently. We have more noble rebels, more communist revolutionaries in here. Be curious to see if the Chinese try to fight these communist revolutionaries. It happens in Paradox games where you'll have like a rebel group and Crusader Kings. Here it goes, yeah, so the Chinese are fighting their communist revolutionaries in Manchukuo, so that didn't make very much sense, and that war just ended on the side of the Chinese. So the Chinese, they haven't completely taken out Manchukuo, but they have certainly taken quite a bit from Manchukuo. Now I did notice that the Americans are at war with Maguindano. I think that's in the Philippines. Yes, it is. So I'm not sure what the exact deal is there. Did they declare that war? Yeah, change of government there. So let's just check out what is their form of government. Okay, they're a sultanate. We'll see if that even changes through this war and what happens there. So I'm thinking the best war that we probably have at the moment is that Brazilian-Argentinian one. We'll see how this goes. Okay, we've got a big battle going on here. 3-star general versus the 2-star. The Brazilians had the larger army, and we'll see how this ends up going. Does seem like the Brazilians are going to win this battle, but not without significant loss of life on both sides, I would say. Yeah, so the Brazilians, they won that. Unfortunately for the Argentinians, I think since we don't have as much going on right now, I'm going to bump up the speed to 3, and we'll see how this goes from there. British-Sudanese wars, not much going on. I mean, the Americans keep doing these wars over in the east, but I feel like they keep losing every war that they do over there. They need to quit declaring war like they've been doing. So yeah, the Argentinians' army is just completely shot. I would probably retreat if I was them and try to coordinate a new army with whatever manpower they had left over. But yeah, I don't think this is going to go well for them. I think the Brazilians are probably, they already had the advantage here in South America, but I think this is going to solidify their place. They're going to take a large chunk of land from the Argentinians, is how I expect this to go. Anything else going on? Okay, so we finally have the British are occupying parts of British Sudan to try to prevent them from gaining their independence. Even have some British Yemen are being occupied by British Sudan. Nothing else going on in Europe. Obviously, Germany in previous episodes took over Denmark and the Netherlands. They hold the port of Danzig and northern parts of Poland. So that's going well for them. They are no longer a fascist dictatorship. They're now a republic. Let's actually go around the map and just look at what the government types are of some of the major powers here. So we have the German Republic, we have the French Republic, Great Britain's kingdom. So the Italians are an empire. They're no longer fascist. The Soviets are obviously a socialist state. The Polish are a republic. The Turks are a republic as well. What about the Iran is a Shahdom. So the Shah is in power there. Saudi Arabia's, all these are going to be kingdoms or sultanates. The Chinese are socialist, so communists. And Japanese are an empire. Let's have a look in Australia. Is obviously their colony. And the Americans are obviously going to be a republic. I don't think we're going to have any like changes of government like Victoria where somebody can go extreme. I think once what I've noticed from this in extended timeline is once these countries change over to republic, they're never going to change back. So it's not like Victoria where they have the nationalist era and they have the possibility to change. Unless I think there's like a pre-scripted event with China where they can change from being nationalist to the communist forces. So we have a Peruvian Panamanian, another one of these wars. Let's head on over there. We had somebody join this Brazilian Argentinian. Cameroon joined it. Not sure why they do that, but that is what they did. Just have a quick look here. So the Mexicans are on the side of the Panama here, so they're allies. The last time they fought, I don't think that Mexico was an ally, although Mexico's probably not in very good shape after that war with the Americans. Okay, we've got a battle going here between... Who's this between? Those flags, I think that was between Peru and Panama. It said something about Mexico when I hovered over that, but that was not the Mexican flag, I don't think. Yeah, that's the Mexican flag. Peru's that one, okay. Let me switch back over to our political map. Brazil is losing this war somehow. Is there... Who is on which side? Okay, so the... Netherlands, were they in there? British... Just a bunch of British colonies with the Argentinians. Somehow they're winning that. Maybe that's happening someplace. Let's have a look at our diplomatic map, and that'll maybe explain something to us. So yeah, we do have... British Sudan is obviously on the side of the Argentinians, and we've got the Germans here. Germans are allied with the Romanians and the Turks here. Okay. I think that Peruvian war is probably the best one that we have going at the moment. So let's go down here and watch them occupy some territory. Occupied by Peru. I mean, Peru, in order to compete with the Brazilians here, I mean, the Brazilians, they don't have the upper hand in this war, but I would think, although they just lost a battle there, okay, but the larger Brazilian stack is just occupying territory here still. It's Peruvian. Now we do have a Spanish-Mauritanian war, imperialist war, Mauritania and Niger. I would think that the Spanish should be, they haven't been doing as much, so I would think they'd have a pretty good army to be able to occupy, assuming that they can move it into Africa. Let's just have a look here. We've got... Yeah, so apparently Algeria just joined that war, possibly, or is that a different war? Spanish-Mauritania war. This... Okay, now we have an Italian Somaliland war for independence. The Turkish and the Spanish are on the side, and the Italians, Yemen, Slovenia, Greece, Algeria, and Cameroon. So this actually probably be a pretty good one to follow. The Italians have been in a lot of wars, and they've been pretty good. Pretty good from an entertainment aspect. They've been pretty good. So we've got actually a naval battle between the Turkish Navy and the Italians. Looks like the Italians won that. Turkish Navy's heading to Istanbul, or wherever their port was. Okay, we've actually got the Greeks are on the... Yeah, we knew that because we read it. The Greeks are on the side of the Italians in this whole thing, so the Turks are moving their forces, which is a heavy, large military, into Greece. So I would think that the Greeks are probably not going to be able to do much against that. I think that the Greeks are running away. They must have military access through Serbia and possibly Hungary. So they're just trying to probably merge up with the larger Italian stacks if they can. Actually, here's a 90k Italian stack. This is going to be really tough. Yeah, the Turks are not going to be able to defend against that. Let me knock down the speed now that I've got this larger war going on here. Yeah, I know that the Turkey will have lower technology than the Italians. For whatever reason, at least I'd probably have to check on this, but in the last version of Extended Timeline, the Turkey never changes, even in the present day, over to from the Anatolian tech group. So they're always like, even in the present day, everybody starts at like 90 in the Western Western Europe, and the Turks are like 88, so like the same as every place in the Middle East. It's kind of weird to me. I think that's a weird design choice that they went with on that one. I brought it up before in one of my the Turkish playthrough that I did. Anyway, I think I've gone into that enough for now. This very large stack, so those... Yeah, I would say that Italian Somaliland are probably going to lose this one. Those Italians have a really large army. Peru is beating the Panamanians there. But yeah, the Turks here do have some idea groups that help them have a very, very large army. So that is their one plus that they do have. Yeah, the Italians have this 3-star general, Alexander da Romano. I don't think I've seen the Germans have a 3-star general through any of this, but the Italians have. If anybody plays Hearts of Iron, you'll know what happens to the Italians every time. They never have a 3-star general equivalent in that. They always end up losing the war for the Germans there in Hearts of Iron. All those time lapses. So we've got the Italian Somaliland is occupying some of Cameroon, so there's like so much going on here. I need to switch over to our political map, or our diplomatic map, just to see what's going on here. So Spain is on the side of the Italian Somaliland, so that could be good for them. Get anything else? Italian Somaliland War, we know all about that. The Spanish Mauritanian War, we haven't really looked at that too much. Probably won't tell us much just from this, Mauritania here. Let's see them doing very much here. Yeah, I don't see any battles. Okay, we've got Italy here in Algeria. This particular province is occupied by Spain. We've got Mauritania here. So Mauritania is occupying some of Spain. I think that the Slovenians, they're at war with the... Yeah, they are. Maybe they're not. Okay, yes, we're talking Slovenia, not Slovakia. So they've moved their troops through Italy and France. Just to... Actually, they're beating the Spanish here. Until the 50k stack of Italians shows up. Not good for them. So I think the Turkish army was kind of decimated by that Italian stack that they fought, and they're just kind of regrouping here. I think that they'll be able to occupy some of Greece, though. It looks like the Greece stack kind of, after they retreated up through here, they came back after the Turkish stack was destroyed, although they look like they're pretty large still, 50k. Alright, and it does look like we're out of time for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this one, and please consider hitting the like button if you did, as it really helps out the channel. So I'll see you guys next time.